Good afternoon. If you just tuned in, where have you been? It's time for the Great British Debate. This hour I'm asking, should the UK introduce a blanket ban on e-scooters? This week, 2 passengers had to be evacuated from Parsons Green Station after an e-scooter exploded on the train. Passengers were forced to flee after the scooter's lithium-ion battery caught fire, but the issues don't stop with the technical difficulties. Government figures show almost 500 people were injured by e-scooter crashes in the UK last year alone. So should we ditch them altogether or roll them out on tighter regulation? I'm joined by the former roads policing officer Mike Rawson and also Michael Quintana from Ridables, a group supporting electric micro-mobility. Alright, so first I'm going to start with Michael, as could get confusing. But Michael, what are the current rules?
I give you a mic.
Okay, so what are the current rules that regard the e-scooters?
Well, good afternoon, Anna. I think, first of all, there's a great deal of confusion out there amongst the public. The law is quite clear. You can only legally use a scooter that's been hired under a government scheme. So if you own one, you cannot use it on the public road. It is entirely restricted to private land. So many of the scooters that I've seen around are certainly not those hired under the scheme. So this confusion certainly needs to be cleared up.
Basically, because what happened at Parsons Green, as I understand it, the person they threw the scooter out, the owner didn't come forward, potentially maybe because they didn't have any regulation for this thing, because there are regulations, as you said. I'm going to bring in, now I presume that was Mike that I spoke to there, yeah? I'm going to bring in Mike.
Yes.
I'll be Mike for today.
No, you can't be, because it's not like that on my nose, that will confuse me even more. You have to be Michael. So Michael, talk to me then about your business and also about these e-scooters, because a lot of people are saying that they are simply unsafe. Where are you coming from in that?
Yeah. So like a lot of industries, right now we're dealing with people who are bringing in devices. You know, they're being bought from all over the world because that's kind of the only place where we can get them. They're being shipped in from different countries with different levels of safety standards. So we at Ridables.org, we're looking to promote the safe legality of micromobility. We'll start with electric scooters, but the whole idea is that we want to promote the safe usage of the devices. So, things like not riding on pavements, things like not modifying, things where they should be modified, wearing a helmet, all these kind of things. Now, in terms of the issue at Parsons Green, one of the things that we don't know is what that person did to their device. Some people do modify these, which they shouldn't, and that's a whole other issue. It's the same with other devices too, like mobile phones and a lot of things with the lithium-ion batteries. The minute you start modifying them, look at some of the devices like the Samsung.
Michael, let me give you another example then, because you said that you don't know what that person had done to the scooter. There was one that was handed into lost property and then just caught fire. So it had been left somewhere, handed into lost property again. Maybe that, it's probably unlikely the person modified it, it just caught fire. And we know that batteries do sometimes just catch fire.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the benefits that we look at with the possibility of legalization is that this industry can be regulated here at home, here in the UK at home, where we do have certain safety standards and a certain level of engineering safety standards that we can apply to these devices. So at that point, we'll be looking at an industry where we can, once it's legalized, you can start investing time, you start investing resources into making this a safe, viable means or a safer viable means of transport. Now, with these devices that are, that have exploded, you have to look at the current numbers, right? You have to look at, out of hundreds of thousands of users, maybe even more, we're looking at a few devices that you can count on your hand. So a blanket ban, because of these issues, isn't the answer. Obviously, these things do happen. We do want to find out why these things happen. But I wouldn't say let's ban everything just because we've had an accident, or else we might as well ban cars and everything else.
You also mentioned about, that they shouldn't be used on pavements and things. There doesn't seem to be any way you can use them. I'm going to come back to Mike. So what would you suggest with these things then? Because They are. I mean, I've had an incident where somebody almost knocked me off the pavement, but they thought that they got away with it. They didn't, because I chased them. I will talk about the details later, but it didn't end nicely for them. I was gentle with them, to be fair. But the point of this is that what is the point of them really? I mean, because there's no really, you can't regulate it. How are you going to regulate them?
Well, that's a problem. But let me just comment on that one that caught fire. It happened to be at Parsons Green, which is a station that's outside. Just imagine if it had happened on the deep tube, full of people. At the very least, there would have been a panic. People would have called the emergency call. Train may well have stopped in the tunnel. The mind boggles. So they must immediately be banned by the transport authorities, so there's no risk of this happening. Now, in answer to your other question, the legislation, whatever legislation there is, must be enforced. That's the job of the police. Now, we don't see many police officers on the streets or on the pavements. There's not enough of them. They're so busy responding to 999 calls that the patrolling police officer who can do something about this problem, he or she don't exist. So it's not self-enforcing the legislation, and from my observations, there are too many idiots on these things. If they were all written safely and sensibly, not on the footway, but on the side of the road, not weaving in and out, not jumping traffic lights, then I say, yes, I think we can adapt and live with them. But sadly, the reality is they're being written by some stupid people, and if you are an elderly person and you get hit by one of these things, the shock alone may well sadly kill you. And so the answers are not simple now.
I don't think they are as well. Listen, Mike Rawson, thank you for that, as a former road policing officer, and also Michael Quintana, the Director of Communications and Government Policy, Ryder Bulls. Now, a TfL spokesperson said this: "We completely understand how worrying it was for our customers and staff when an e-scooter caught a light on a train. It is forbidden to ride e-scooters at stations or on trains, and failure to comply with this bylaw is a criminal offence. E-scooters may currently be carried, but must be folded for the entirety of the journey." Yeah, it's interesting. Those e-scooters, they're a bit of a nightmare. I don't fancy one. I think they look dangerous. The batteries, combustible, of course, batteries are. But after the break, we'll continue our e-scooter discussion with former Liberal Democrat MP and former Transport Minister Norman Baker. It will also be time for your say on the issue as well. I'm asking, should the UK introduce a blanket ban on these e-scooters? Send that email, gbnews@gbnews.uk. Also, you can tweet me at gbnews, but it's first time to pick up your latest news headlines.
You're watching GB News Live.
Good afternoon. So we are back to the Great British Debate this hour. I'm asking, should the UK introduce a blanket ban on e-scooters? You can see here the images of an e-scooter bursting into flames at the tube station in London. That was this week. But it's not just electrical fires, because almost 500 people have been injured by them this year. So that is still quite a lot in just such a short space of time. In a moment, we're going to hear my thoughts of the panel, but it's time for your say as well. But first, let's find out the thoughts of former Liberal Democrat MP and former Transport Minister Norman Baker. Norman, welcome to the programme.
Thank you.
Now, I want to ask you, the current rules say that you can't ride an e-scooter on a public road unless it's from one of the hire stations. Do you think that that is a sufficient law, or do you think it's outdated? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm afraid the government's completely mishandled this, because we know a situation where people see other people on these scooters, they think it's legal, they just get hold of one from wherever it happens to be. There's no regulation on the type of scooter it is. I don't think over there any training with any licence with a scooter that may be able to perform at a much higher speed than is proper for the road network. So I'm afraid this business of trying trial areas has sent entirely the wrong message. So we don't have to ban them all, we don't have to have a free-for-all. There's a sensible middle course. The sooner the government gets it, the better. which is proper regulation to make sure these are not on pavements, to make sure there's a maximum speed for these scooters, perhaps to make sure that people wear helmets, that's another debate, and to make sure that they may be banned in particular locations where they are particularly dangerous. Now, all those things can happen, and the sooner the government brings that through, the better. There may also be an argument for saying whether or not people need to have a licence for them. We don't for e-bikes, so there's a debate about that, but we need proper regulation, and people at the moment feel they can just get on like they get on a bike, and clearly they're much more dangerous than bikes.
So not on pavements though. If they're not going to be on pavement, where would they use them?
Well, on the road, clearly. I mean, that's where bikes are, and that's where motorbikes are.
So you would have these scooters on the roads. So what about what about insurance? Because if you're on the road,
Yes, there's an argument. I mean, there's a debate to be had as to whether or not they're treated like bicycles or whether they're treated like motorbikes, because they are a kind of halfway house. I mean, look, there's a positive benefit to these machines in one way, which is that they encourage people to leave their cars at home. They ease congestion in township centres, and they are quite flexible. So I think if we can make them work in a safe way, that's the best outcome. But they need to be tightly regulated in the way they're not at the moment. Insurance may be necessary, yes.
Well, actually, insurance would have to be necessary because, for example, if they knock me off, it would be tough because I'm quite hardcore. But if somebody knocked me over and I was able to perform my duties at work and things like that, who would pay for my support? Where would I get some compensation?
Well, the same question applies to bicycles, of course, because people don't have insurance for bicycles. So that's insurance that existed for 100 years or more. It's also the case that there's no insurance for mobility scooters, so people who are disabled with mobility scooters, which also have a power to them and can go quite fast, and again, people aren't trained to drive those, can also be dangerous, knock people over, and also on pavements. So there's a whole range of machines which are out there, which are dealt with in different ways, and what we have to try and do is not stop people using machines which they find convenient, but at the same time protect the general public from any downsides.
Well, listen, Norman, thank you so much for your insight on that. That's Norman Baker, former MP and former Transport Minister. Thank you so much. Right, let's ask my panel. And John, what do you think? I'll go with you, John, first.
Well, I think it's quite straightforward, isn't it? There's this anomaly between the ones that you hire and not being able to buy and buying them. Clear that up overnight. 2, licence them. 3, regulate them. 4, tell them you've got to wear a helmet. Whilst we're at it, let's also get cyclists to be registered and insured. And don't give me this argument they always give, which is, oh, I'm a car owner as well. Well, if you're a car owner, you have to have insurance for both cars. So that would give protection. Because banning them, you can't ban them. You've let the genie out of the bottle. And as per usual, the government,
You could ban them on, say, public spaces. So if you ban them, then if everyone's on an e-scooter or on a pavement or on a road, then they're doing something illegal.
there aren't any coppers. It'll never happen now. They make up laws like that, and it all sounds great. Best to regulate them. Best also to say, look, it's here, but no one's right. Here's congestion. So why are we against it?
Well, I think they're quite dangerous.
I mean, I've been trying to, well, not well elected one, but like just, you know, when you see, I don't mind kids, little kids come on them, but I think what really annoys me is adults on the things, like literally, it's like, oh, for heaven's sake, look at yourself in the mirror. But also, while we're on these subjects, because I'm sure this is all to do with, let's get rid of cars and go green. Where do these people think the lithium batteries come from? Again, all the little elves going, oh, there's a lithium battery. No, they're dying in mind in Africa by very, very poor African slavery. So that's how they...
Not necessarily, I mean, there must be some...
But I mean, this is... There must be a good slavery somewhere.
There might be a good mind somewhere where they do it properly and everything. Point if they're still pillaging the earth.
So it's hypocritical, I think.
If it relieves congestion. It's very much a London problem as well. If you don't mind me saying.
Do you think?
Yeah, I've counted 1 or 2. I'm afraid I live outside of London. It's not much of a problem elsewhere. It's mostly in London. But the way to deal with it is to clear up that anomaly, regulate it, and then, if they're all licensed, Your question about, well, there's cameras to pick up, then we'd be able to track them down. You can't track them down if they're not logged and licensed.
I don't know if they're so agile, are they can move quickly. And listen, I'll tell you what happened to me. I was, there's an alleyway, I was coming out of the alleyway, and suddenly this thing just literally, if I'd been 2 seconds earlier, that thing would have mowed me down. Anyways, so he went past, and then he went down to the little corner shop. And he didn't realise that I caught him up the corner shop. I said, I'm a single mum. What would my kids do without me? You could have killed me. I said, you don't need a license for that thing. And he was looking at me, and I wear a hat and glasses. Don't you look at me like that. I was like an old witch.
But Norman was really right though, when he said, you could look around for a copper, for a policeman on the beat. Well, they won't be, because they're checking your tweets and making sure you're using the right pronouns.
Doing that.
Yeah, but I mean,
you're not even doing that, Abby.
Yeah, but they're checking what pronouns you're using.
Seriously, don't forget, trees may cut 20,000 coppers. They haven't yet been replaced, I think 10,000 have. But they have got the priorities wrong as well. I'd agree completely with you. But what we need to do is deal with this problem. And the answer is regulation. I'm not really that keen, but why should you be able to go on an electric vehicle, but you can't do that with a motorbike? Why should you be able to jump the lights? That's a real London problem.
Yeah.
People, cyclists in London are the most irresponsible.
Cyclists, I think,
there are some good cyclists, and I reckon a lot of them would say that actually those cyclists give them a bad name, so it's not really fair to put a
when they put cycle,
you know it's a London problem, but we're looking at e-scooters on sort of a wider range. So yeah, and I think that if you went other places, they would actually be building problems, especially like Newcastle, I suspect. But actually, if there's viewers out there, we'd love to hear your thoughts actually. Are e-scooters the problem where you are?
Also, we put in all these cycle lanes, and then the cycle lobbying groups, one man, not you personally, the Irish fella, the facts are they're not using the cycle lanes.
No, they're always empty.
They want to use them, they're always empty.
I think that we need to have a look at, if we're going to talk about the two-wheel thing, we do need to look at taxation, registration, number plate, because if you're riding a bicycle, you're more likely to cause an accident with a car. If you swerve out on your bicycle and the driver can't see you, you're going to cause a terrible accident. But they can't trace you. I think we need to look at legislation.
Some sort of number plate recognition. Whose scooter it is and that kind of thing. Well, today we're asking, should the UK introduce a blanket ban on e-scooters? You've heard what my guests and panel think. Now it's your time to say what you think. And a lot of you have been doing just that. Brittany says, no, they are good if used safely. They should be used the same way as a bike. Steve says they most certainly should not be on the pavement. If they're used on the road, you should have to wear a crash helmet and a vehicle licence, MOT'd and insured like any other electrically powered vehicle. Kat says, yes, impose a blanket ban, then throw a lot of them in a builder's kit so they can never fly our roads and pavements again. Ash says no, they're able to do around the towns and cities and need to be used sensibly. Philip says, thought we wanted to go all electric, now we want to ban it. And there's a poll up at the moment on Twitter, and we're asking the very question whether you think they should be banned. Currently 65% of you say yes. We should introduce a blanket ban on them. But it's still early days, so head over to Twitter poll now and cast your vote. Still to come, scientists at Oxford